as much as Valentine's Day is a joyful, light-hearted event, the topic actually of attracting romance and attracting the right romance into our lives is a very, very important subject. The commerciality of Valentine's Day, yes, okay. So, sure, there are going to be people who are making money out of selling flowers and chocolates and, all the rest of it. And kind of like with Christmas, it's always about the intention behind what you do. That is important.
Yeah.
So personally, I embrace it, and I love Christmas too. And if people are wanting to spend money on flowers and chocolates and strawberries and jewelry, well, great. I mean, I'd much rather that people spend money on those things than on other things that I can think of. So I personally don't mind Valentine's Day being commercial. I think the more celebration that we have in life, the better. It is, however, important that one remembers to bring that concept of sanctity in a way to our love relationships. So they can be, it's fun and, all the rest of it. There is also that other more serious side, which I've just mentioned. The person that we pick to be in romantic relationship with, who then becomes our partner, our twin flame, our significant other, that decision is probably the biggest decision that we're going to make in our lives. And it will impact on every aspect of our lives. That is the person that we are going to be sleeping next to every single night. So it's going to profoundly affect us, and it is a decision that needs to come from a very deep place. But the biggest qualification that I have for being a teacher of this subject is my life. And to cut a long story very short, I think what qualifies me more than anything else is that this particular area of romance and relationships is the area that has brought me in the past to my knees more than anything else.
Right, okay.
And I have managed to move through all of those patterns now to be the person that I am today. I have had to completely reinvent my life. I have had completely to change my thinking, to change everything, to change my self-worth, to change my belief patterns. And it's been a gradual process. And because of that, I have a lot to share. And really, when I think about why I am so thrilled to offer this subject, it is because I want to support you and all the people out there who may be listening to this and watching this transmission in not having to go through, not having to fall into the pit holes that I fell into. And I want to make your life easier. And so if I can just help even one person not create some of the chaos that I created for myself, then my job is done. Romance is the most amazing thing. It cuts through all barriers like nothing else of culture, of financial background, race. And that's why stories like the famous stories like Romeo and Juliet are so attractive to people, because that was the story of, warring gangs of people. And it was this love between the two. So love, and particularly the love between two significant others, is an amazing thing that brings people together and can bring cultures together and move through conflicts in a way. And when we look around the world now and we see, lots of, wonderful mixed race children being born, and it's so special, and it's a wonderful gift that this does more than anything else.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, not to forget that.
Oh, we're so in love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how can we let go of our past hurts and troubles and remove obstacles and blockages to attract the right partner?
Wow, yeah, that's the biggie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know, absolutely. Yeah, when I look around at, so many people that I know who are single or, just starting out in life, and I sometimes see, amazing people who are not in relationship, and quite so many people who shut the door on relationship. And that's such a pity, because it's on so many levels. It is a way of growing more than any other. I think it's one of the most important lessons that we learn is through relationships. So the question is how to move through when you've been hurt or you're in a bad relationship. And there are many ways and tools that I include when I'm running my workshops and teach people. There are many techniques that you can use. And I think there are three things that, in order to really make a change in your life, you have to be able to embrace. The first thing is that you have to really want to make that change. And so if I could just use myself as an example, I mean, I really wanted to have relationship in my life. And that was one of the biggest things that I wanted from life. And I had to move through so much pain in order to get there, and make so many mistakes in order to get there, that it would have been so easy to give up. So the commitment to stay the route and not to give up, even when, you walk down into a cul-de-sac, you walk to a dead end, and things are not going well in your present relationship, because a lot of these techniques apply for people who are in relationships as well as people who are not in relationships. Because to keep a relationship alive, to keep it romantic, to keep it with that vitality is also a skill. So that commitment is one of the most important things. And for me, the way that I support people is in connecting to, and it's why it's important for people to have an understanding that reality is such that everything is possible. And so even if it feels totally impossible, if your situation, and this applies across the board to health conditions and financial situations, you have to believe that it is possible. And if you can believe in a higher power or a god, goddess, source, whatever you want to call the all that is, that is absolutely key. And to be able to ask for help from that source, it brings up stuff for me, actually, because it's such an important gift. Not everybody has it. A lot of people don't have faith, and I think for me that has been the place that I've gone when I've been in pain and things haven't gone right. That is where I go, and then I'm given the direction and I'm given the support. So those things together, I think, are the really crux of the matter in terms of being able to move through. And lastly, it does help to have a mentor or a teacher. And again, in my case, I have reached out to so many different teachers. I'll just give a quick story, if I may.
Sure.
Because Sabia, that I'm also a professional singer.
Yes.
And so, for example, when I was studying to sing, I went to every single singing teacher that I could possibly find. I was determined I was going to really become a good singer. And I did. And so then with this issue as well, I was determined I was going to learn about what a healthy relationship is. And that's the word, actually, healthy relationship. So I went to all the experts that I paid loads of money, and I've traveled all over the world to get that help.
How can we improve our romantic life and find the right partner to share our life with? Can you share some tips on how to do that? So we want to know, right, guys? That's what we're all tuned in for.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good question, actually. One of the things that happens is if you have had a bad experience or, say, childhood experience or a present time experience or recent experience, is that it lowers your energy levels. Sure. And so one of the things that you need to do, and again, this I do cover in my workshops, is you need to be able to raise your magnetic energy, your vibration. Because if you're in a place where you're full of negative messages in your head and your self-esteem is really low, and I see this, in my clients who I love so much, who they're crying a lot, as I did back then, not happy, maybe not looking after themselves very well, so be health-wise, and, on all the different fronts, finance, so starting to take better care of yourself so that you raise your energy, because I don't know if you've had the experience, but as you raise your energy levels, you start to be more attractive, and you start to attract people to you in all sorts of different ways. Have you noticed that?
I have, yes.
Yeah. And of course, then when that happens, you have to be in the driving seat, and you have to be really choosy. You have to make sure that you choose the right one.
The right person,
yeah.
Yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about self-love and how we can do that?
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. And actually, the name of my organization is Courage Enterprises, and I call my Courage, COURAGE, is the self-love blueprint. Right. And I go through each letter has a different tool and a different technique that people can use. So, they're very simple kind of things that you can do, which I'll share briefly, which are things like you can feng shui your life and your home of all old energies that are no longer relevant for your life today. So, for example, you've got old jewelry, you've got jewelry that other people have given you if you're a woman or a man, or you've got, all the old love letters, let's say, from somebody, or even if you've had a bad relationship with somebody in your family and you've got a lot of clutter around you, physical clutter. So by letting go of that, by giving it away, shedding it, you then make way for a new energy to come in. And that's a very powerful technique. And I'll tell you another one, if I may. Can I?
Yeah, of course.
So one of the other things that really blocks the good things coming to us is resentments. When you've got a resentment against somebody. And quite sometimes we're not even aware that we're carrying those resentments. And that's why I think self-forgiveness, self-love is a really important part of this process. So, you do make a mistake, say, you do end up, I've repeated that same old pattern, then it's okay. It's okay. You just have to say, all right, I've done it again. I forgive myself. It's all right. I let go of that. And, what is there for me to learn here? So it's a process. But this particular exercise I just wanted to share with you because it was very powerful for me. Sure. And I got it actually from somebody called Louise Hayes. Have you ever heard of her?
Yeah,
Louise Hayes, who's
I'm
now
sure
passed away.
Yeah,
she was she wrote a book called You Can Heal Your Life, and she was one of the first and most famous self-development sort of gurus, and set up a huge publishing house in America, in California. And I got this from her, and it's called the 7x7 forgiveness process. And what you do is, it's a big, big process. You write out 7 times a day, for 7 days, I forgive X.
Ah, very interesting.
That was a huge process, and I did that for a particular person in my life that I had major issues with. And to actually physically write out, on a big pad, I forgive you, I forgive you, and really feel it 7 times a day. That is absolutely massive. So I have to say that some of the time I did actually say it, and I can remember walking through Clapham Common, saying, because I, couldn't write it every single time, so I said it, and I did it with my footsteps, and like making a loud noise on on the sidewalk. So I forget, so that I could get rid of the anger, get rid of the resentment, get rid of it. I forgive. And you know what? It happened for me. It took a while. When I look back at all these kinds of processes, you may not see directly the result, but it's accumulative. And the more of these kinds of things that you do, the more of the results you're going to get. So those are just two examples. There are many other kind of little example things that you can do. They're really practical tips that you can actually use to start to change things.
How can we know we have found the right partner, soulmate or twin flame to share our lives with? Now, do you want to explain the difference between what a soulmate is and a twin flame is? Because I always keep hearing that, but what is it?
Yeah. Well, so this is different for everybody, I think. Some people believe that there is only one person for them.
Yeah.
And they might call that their twin flame. Other people might say that there are a few on the planet that are right for them. What I think we're all looking for is a match, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We are looking for that alignment with another. And I would call that compatibility. And so, for example, you could meet somebody who you are totally physically in tune with. I remember somebody that I met once, and our steps were exactly in tune. It was like we were just physically, we were just so aligned with each other. However, emotionally, no way. Just not at all. And the other way around, you can meet somebody who you are perhaps share the same spiritual view and practice, and emotionally, but intellectually, you are in a different place. So, generally speaking, it is such a personal decision, actually, Sophia, as to what you want in your life. So that might be okay for somebody. They might be happy with that. And that's great. One thing, though, that I did want to say is that what I see is, and what I've learnt to change in myself, is this thing about settling, inverted commas, settling for
you keep hearing that, right?
Second best. That is when you're stopping growing. So you've got to keep growing. And so if you're, for example, in a relationship with somebody who isn't growing at the same pace as you, then, it may be that, you decide that you want to move on from that relationship. So compatibility, and then percentages, say 80% compatibility, between 80 and 90% compatibility.
In 4 areas.
In the 4 areas, yeah. I mean, if you're being really pragmatic about it. However, as I say, it is such a personal decision, and it's really about what feels right for you, and everybody is different.
Absolutely. But I think you just made a really good point there about the 4 bodies, for emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental bodies. And I think that you're right. I mean, we need a balance between all 4 for something to work. Because if one's completely out of alignment, it's just not going to work. Or you're going to further down a few months later, or 6 months to a year, where you've wasted a lot of time in a relationship, which you obviously saw the red flags at the beginning. And then sometimes we ignore them, don't we? And that comes with experience. So yeah, it's a really good point, actually, about balancing of the 4 bodies. That's something I will take on board.
Yeah, good. Good. Success.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I think compatibility, and in terms of, again, personally, if you're asking me, I think that there are probably, several people on the planet that I could have a really fantastic relationship with.
Absolutely.
So it's just finding the one that, well, in a way, you know what, it's actually grace given. It is grace given. When you raise your vibration, you get into the right place, the universe will bring it. And then we have to recognize it, and we have to allow it when that happens. And
be ready, right?
Be ready.
Open.
Yeah, be ready and open. And if you are given that that special person and with that total alignment, then my goodness, you are so blessed.
Oh, well, I'm wearing my red top today, you know, so attracting the love of color.
She's ready.
I'm ready. So, you know, that's one of the things, isn't it?
Yeah. Ready.
Being ready.
Ready to be ready to be ready, yeah.
So, yeah, we're coming down to the next questions, but that's a big question I want to wait for.
How do you know that you're ready for love?
Yeah.
Right. How
yeah.
do you know that you're ready for love? I think it's just something that happens to you. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you kind of go and say, you know, red flag, you know, here I am. It's an accumulative process, as I've said, of just doing the right things, of nurturing yourself, self-love, giving yourself self-love. And then you start to feel that there is something missing in your life. Well, but it's not as simple as that, because so many people do fall into relationships rather than rise into relationships, which is the way I like to think of it. You're going to rise into love, not fall into love.
So what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is that you have consciousness of what's happening.
Right.
So it's not an accident. So you're staying in the driving seat. You're staying in awareness about how you're feeling when you're with whoever, and in terms of what you're wanting. So I think that would be my answer.
I suppose there's probably a lot of people out there that are single, are not finding someone, or when they do meet people, maybe they're not right for them, or there seems to be problems with that relationship, which you know is fine, and those things happen. Yeah. What kind of tips can you give for those people that are sort of, you know, they're coming in and out of relationships and not really finding that one or someone who's compatible to them?
So it means that they've got something new to learn.
Right.
There's more to learn. Yeah. And perhaps withdrawing for a while from relationships. Certainly that's something that I did. I had to withdraw for quite a while, quite a few years actually, to really learn about myself and learn about who I am, what I like. Because it's so easy when you get into a relationship with somebody else to, you know, you want to show your best side, don't you? Yeah. And, you know, they're showing their best side to you, and you're not always being real. So it's having the confidence to be real as well. So having that sense of strength within, so that you know that you can allow your vulnerability to show when you're testing the ground with somebody, and to know yourself well enough that you're not going to take on somebody else's value system or ideas just because, you know, they're attractive to you. Yes, we all go through changes, and sometimes we're not available to our significant other. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
And vice versa. Yeah. So then I think, you know, we have to allow the other person the space to go through whatever they're going through, and you know, if that pattern and that space goes on creating itself again and again and again. So, I mean, you know, classic or simplistic example would be, say, somebody who always likes to go out drinking and you don't like drinking. Then, you know, maybe you'd be okay with it up to a certain point, and you might talk about it, and they might change, and then it's okay. Then you know, by sharing your vulnerability, talking about those issues, you might sort that out, and you may not. So it's about listening to yourself, and you know that quiet voice inside you, and you listen to that voice, and it shows you yes or no.
Yes, and you just brought up a really good point about vulnerability. Now, tell us a little bit more about vulnerability, because that's a very key thing in relationships, right?
It is. Yeah, because I think, you know, one loves the romance, particularly when you meet somebody new, or, you know, if there are new things going on in your life. Say you get a big new job, or you know, you have a child, for example, and that can bring a whole big shift into the relationship. Being real. We have to be real. We have to show who we are. And if in showing who we are we get hurt, then that's good information. that's information that we need to have. And, we can take that information and then decide what we want to do with that information. So being brave enough is what I'm saying, to share. And when you meet somebody new and, it's all so exciting and, everything's just going amazingly well. And it's so important to, honor ourselves and really be who we really are as well. Which doesn't mean you don't have fun as well. It just means that you also have to...
you have your boundaries, right?
Yes,
boundaries
that's
is
it. Boundaries is a good
it's
word.
a very important word as well, right? And very important for relationships.
Yes.
I think boundaries are important for every aspect of our lives.
Yes.
But I think sometimes we forget that in relationships, right?
Oh, relationships! It's the
key thing.
It's the most important. It's one of the most important things, actually. Yeah, respecting your own boundaries and respecting the boundaries of somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the next question is actually a very interesting one, which I actually really like as well, which is, what about sex?
Sex.
So, when is the right time for a relationship to become intimate? Tips to create and maintain a healthy sexual relationship.
Right. Where would we be without sex? And the answer to that question is, we would not be.
Well, it's a humorous. Yes, I agree.
Exactly. So yeah, I actually am glad that we're talking about this one, Sabir, because my experience is that we don't actually talk about it enough.
Yeah.
It's like we don't actually talk about things like death either, and things like that. So, and it's really important to be able to speak to your significant other about that too. It doesn't always go brilliantly when it happens. And the question of when is the right time to have an intimate relationship. Again, that is really varies from person to person and from situation to situation. So, for example, there are what people might call star children who come from perhaps one encounter between a man and a woman, let's say. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say too about sex is that it is for procreation. So
and desire.
And desire and pleasure and pleasure. Yes. Thank you. But it's got to be pleasurable, otherwise people wouldn't do it. I think. So what I wanted to say is that it's to procreate the species, but also in same-sex relationships, the coming together of two people in alignment leads to a tremendous amount of energy that can be used in all sorts of ways. And the sexual act is the most intimate expression of life force energy between two human beings on this planet, in my opinion. So, yeah. And so when is the right time to engage in that? It's a case of, again, listening to yourself. There are no right or wrong answers. As I was saying, you can have some people have come together just for one night and they've created a child, and the universe was just like, this child needs to come. This child needs to be that. So apart from that, I think it's important to allow yourself to be in alignment, to make sure that you are in alignment with the other person. There is also the point of, actually, there have been quite a lot of experiments done and research done on how body clocks literally need to kind of become matched. So not in every case, as I said earlier in the interview, you can sometimes meet somebody who you are physically in alignment with, and that your physical body clock is, absolutely perfect, but then the other things need to be there too. However, it's like, that thing where you bring a group of women together for, a few weeks, a few months, and they all start menstruating at the same time. You've heard that? Yeah. So actually, being close to another person, being in relationship with another person, your body clocks start to sync together, and that then leads to a smooth experience. Whereas if you don't wait for that to happen, then it may not be so great. the first experience, which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be wrong. It's just that it's nice perhaps to give grace, to bring grace into the situation and allow it to. So I guess ideally it's when both people feel it. It's both people are feeling that it's the right time, and then it is the right time.
So I'm going to talk about the right time, and I'm glad you brought that up, because there seems to be, you hear a lot about people saying, you wait for 3 months, 6 months. Some people say, after marriage. Some people are, you just hear these rules and so forth about the intimacy.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, and what's, in terms of professionally, what's your thoughts on that?
What you don't want to do is to get a hangover. So if you're going into a sexual relationship in the wrong way, then you're going to experience a hangover afterwards. So if you are not ready for it, if you're not in alignment, then you're going to experience a withdrawing feeling, maybe feel depressed, maybe just feel uncomfortable, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. Is he going to leave me? Is he going to call me? Is he all that sort of stuff? Or is she, the right one for me? And, all that. So I think it's good to kind of wait until those things are already established and you're able to be yourself. And friendship. Actually, I would just want to say that because I asked somebody recently.
You saw me smile. And you said friendship.
Yeah, friendship is really important. And I asked somebody recently what kind of a relationship they wanted. And they said to me that the first thing was that they wanted friendship. And I think that is a really great answer.
Yeah.
Because if you've got that, then it doesn't really matter, actually. But it's not enough, though. Friendship is not enough. There has to be the other bit there as well.
No, of course. Yeah. But if you create the foundation in a relationship as friendship, I think I am agreeing here. Friendship is important.
Yeah,
because then you relax more in a relationship. Yeah. You can communicate better with one another and have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And what we're looking for is your best friend, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or one of your very close friends.
Well, your closest friend. You're definitely your closest friend, because that's the person that you're going to be, sharing your life with.
Sharing a lot of time with,
You're more than a lot of time with. You're going to be sharing your life with them.
Yeah.
So it's really important. Yeah. Friendship. Yeah.
Beautiful friendship. So again, guys, if you have any questions, then do put them in the comments box below. If you have any questions in regards to what we're talking about in terms of attracting blockages or even sex.
Not attracting blockages, releasing blockages.
Releasing blockages, sorry. And attracting, I said it all together, that's why.
Right,
and attracting a partner, or even a question on sex or intimacy, then do let us know in the comments box below, and Lorrayn will answer that for us. And again, we do have a competition, so keep listening, and that'll be revealed to you towards the end of today's show as well. So Lorrayn, I know we spoke about intimacy, but I really want to go back to really trying to get it out of you.
She's really quizzing me here.
Yeah, I am.
Good.
We all want to learn.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're here for, is to learn.
Yes.
So one of the things I want to ask, I'm going to go back to the intimacy point, and that is, when is it the right time to be intimate? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months?
There is absolutely no recipe to it. Absolutely none. You can meet somebody and have the most amazing night with them and never see them again. You can love somebody for one night.
Yeah.
And never see them again, and it can be absolutely okay. Or you could be friends with somebody for, I know people who've been friends for years and years and years, and then suddenly the relationship changes and they become lovers.
Yeah, of course.
So there is absolutely, what's important is that you listen to how you feel, and you honor how you feel, so that you don't allow yourself to be coerced or pushed into something before you're ready. At the same time, you remain open to experimenting and to the joy of it and to the pleasure of it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what about all this? Because I'm sure there's loads of people on here that are thinking, no, Lorrayn, if you have sex or intimacy too quickly, then it doesn't work. What's your take on that?
Well, again, I always remember there's a guy called Dr. Chuck Spezzano, who's based in Hawaii, who I did a lot of workshops with, and his wife Lency, who's the most amazing teacher. Many years ago, I did a lot of their workshops, and he used to say, he would give you all of these tips and everything else, and he would explain, he was a trained psychologist, and he would explain all about the psychology and everything else, etc., etc. And then he said, well, you could do that route, he said, or you can simply go to God and ask God. Simply that. And then you will learn the answers.
For yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
Well, that's, you can ask.
Yeah.
This is,
ask
every
universe,
day,
yeah.
Ask the universe, every day, when I sit down do my spiritual practices, and I'm sure you do as well, have your spiritual practice, and I'm sure that, loads of the listeners and viewers here today also have a spiritual practice. It's
of course
so
they do. They're all well-being members.
Yes, exactly. so it's about remembering that. We have to remember that. So, you sit down in your practice and you've got all these things going on in your head and, does he love me? Doesn't he love me? Is it right this? Did I say that right? Did I do, what's going on now? And, we've been together for 20 years. Is this really the right relationship? Maybe I need to leave this relationship now. And I know we've got children, but, it goes on and on and on and on. And instead, if you can just say, higher power, please guide me. Take this from me. Take this from me. Let me be here. Let me allow my life. Let me just live my life and stop all the thinking about it. Then it happens. Or it doesn't happen, and then that's all right too.
And that's okay as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I'm still on intimacy in my head. So what about how can we improve the love we already have? So now this is a question for couples. So any of you who are seeing someone already or been in a relationship, really for them, in terms of how do they sort of, bring the spark back into their lives or into their relationship. Any tips for them?
Yeah, and the question of intimacy in that kind of a relationship is
exactly.
also really relevant too.
Yeah, because it's different, isn't it?
It is. So it's about having a romantic relationship with yourself.
Right.
You got to, having that vitality within your life, having your, being interested in life, being engaged in life, being passionate about life. And if you're not, reaching out for help. That's what I had to do. If you're in a kind of negative space, the strength is, and I really want people to hear this, the strength is in owning that you're not strong. The strength is in reaching out and asking for help, whether that is through an energy healer or a mentor like me, a teacher, or, psychotherapy definitely has its place. I did a lot of psychotherapy and it really helped me understand my issues. It's not always necessary. Asking for help, being willing to ask, the universe, and then you listen to where you're directed to. Absolutely. So if you feel an affinity with somebody or, it's, what, Sabia, it's amazing things happen. Where was I just hearing? Something I was listening to on YouTube, and the person was in a state about something in their lives, and they walked around the corner and a book fell off the back of a truck, and it was exactly what they needed because they'd asked for help. So miracles, it's to remember the miracles, to really, really take that on board, that there are miracles, that we are worthy of miracles. You are innocent. We are innocent, and we're beautiful human beings. We're beautiful.
So tell us. So within a couple, when you said having romance with yourself, what do you mean?
So what I mean is making sure that every day is a really great day, independently of your partner. If you're looking to your partner to make you happy, it ain't going to happen. That is the right route to crash. It has to be within you. You have to feel that within yourself.
Yeah.
And there's so many, and we mentioned this when we talked about this interview the other day, about the empty hole, which I certainly had within myself, that is a form of addiction, and we see it so much in our society, you know, people acting out with drugs and alcohol and power and money and all sorts of things that people are craving to feel. Relationships are one of the biggies. Sex, one of the biggies that people, sex addicts, one of the big things that you know, people use to fill this empty hole within themselves, because they've not actually nurtured themselves, not self-loved themselves, and maybe they haven't had the information, maybe they don't even know that. So the first thing is to admit that things aren't great. The first thing is to own it. So then when you own it, then you can take the steps to ask for help and get a teacher, a mentor, a psychotherapist, or this, let's read a book, you know, there are lots of ways. Ask God. Yeah. Does that help?
Okay. Yes, and the other thing I would say is communicate with your partner.
Oh, yeah, don't forget that, yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of, say someone's in a relationship on here and, you know, maybe things are not going as great as they were last few months, or, you know, relationship seems to be a bit rocky. What advice can you give to them?
Certainly, you said communicate your feelings in a boundaried way. So no blame, no shame. You know, when you do that, I feel like this. What I think is, what I need is. That's the kind of recipe that I would suggest that one uses. And then listen to what they tell you. And then see from there how it comes. And, you know, maybe if you're in a relationship and you really want the relationship to work and it's not working, you might want to reach out to a third person. You know, there are wonderful relationship coaches that deal with people in relationships to help
I think
them.
also when you are communicating with your partner, it's not to make it so serious. So, you know, just ask them how they are. Maybe at the beginning, before you even have the conversation, tell them you love them or you care about them. Give them a hug or hold their hand. You know, because that kind of disarms them and yourself as well, and it shows that you care. And then you can have that conversation, and it doesn't matter what it is, because you and your partner, when you have that closeness and that warmth, especially with touch, because touch is really important, isn't it? That will actually help you guys to communicate better. So that would be my advice in terms of, if you've got something that's on your mind, or, you know, it's bothering you, it could be, you know, even as small as putting the bins out, for example. I'm just being
no, little things like that can be really major.
And then, you know, it's holding your partner's hand and telling them that will totally change the way they will. And it's your tone of voice. Rather than going into blame, you, it could be more of a conversation, and just say, look, this is what bothers me, this is, you know, and then just have that conversation, and then hug it out and see what, and then give them space. So you've said what you need to, but you also need to give the other person space to be able to express themselves and tell you what's on their side, and then just hug it out.
I think you and I are going to have to do some workshops together for people, aren't we? She's great.
And then that's it, and then move on, and then don't hold it. You know, don't keep holding grudges.
I think release the grudges.
Just let go of it and let it be. And if it's one of the things, if you're an overthinker, which I'm an overthinker. One of the things I do, and I always talk about it, and that is to write it down. So separate journaling is really a key way of, or if you want to talk like a dictation or something, you can do that as well.
Do you listen back to it?
Oh, you can listen to it as well.
Is that what you do? You listen back to it?
No, I don't. I normally write. I'm a writer.
I prefer writing
but if you, I mean, everybody has their own ways. So explain your ways. What do you guys do in terms of your relationship when you get into a tricky situation? How do you deal with it? Let us know, because I'd love to hear from you guys. And
we would really like to hear from you.
I really want to know what everyone else does. We don't talk about it.
You know, it's so. Yeah, what have you done in your life that, you know, has helped you? And helped a relationship that you've been in? You know, how have you sustained a relationship when things have been tricky?
So all the single people can learn from you, or people in relationships can learn as well.
Yeah.
I just want to say hi, Sonia. Thank you for joining as well, and do just keep sending me happy Valentines.
We want the happy Valentines.
Yeah,
Lots of happy Valentines.
I want to keep seeing them too.
Yes, because tonight's a big night. Lots of people are going to be going out tonight and celebrating.
Absolutely,
aren't they?
it's a lot of love in the air.
Yeah,
isn't there?
love in the air today.
Okay, so now on my favorite part, we're going to do a exercise. So if you guys are ready, watching as well, you can join in as well in this exercise. We're going to do a quantum visioning energy transmission exercise.
Great.
So I'm really looking forward to that. How long will this exercise be? Is it
Well,
about 5 minutes?
Yeah, we'll do a 5 minutes once. When people come to my play shops, as I call them, play shops,
of course.
not workshop, they're play shops. Then we do longer ones. Might do several. So for now, we're just going to do a short one, just so that you get an idea of how it works. So I'll just quickly explain that what we look for is we look to try to go to the quantum field, to get into the quantum field, because once we connect with that, then all things are possible. So if you are looking for love, if you're in a relationship and you want that relationship to improve, then you can use this technique that I'm going to show you and share with you now to help you. And all you have to do right now is just listen, because and the great thing about the quantum field is that it goes through all time and all space, because we are eternal, infinite, and immortal, and universal. So this energy, it will be still there in the replay. It'll still be there, until the end of time that we're going to create. And if you all will do this with me, then that will add a potency to it. So you just want to actually do what I'm going to do now, and that's just going to be very simply to make sure that you're sitting comfortably.
Brilliant.
Take a breath. Are you timing us?
No.
Okay, we'll just intuit it. We'll just intuit it.
Hold on, let me just check. I just say hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining as well. Okay, cool. Right, let's do.
Okay, so you're going to close your eyes, please, and take a breath. Make sure you're sitting comfortably, that your back is straight. And I want you to focus on the movement of the breath in the belly area. So I'm going to ask you all, if you're listening to this broadcast, to actually do this with me now. So you're going to focus on the tummy button area and just watch the movement of the breath as you breathe in and out. You're going to release any stress, any thinking, any tension, any worries. You're going to just imagine it all falling away from you, dropping away from you. You're going to look for the breath. Look to watch the breath. So you're not actually you doing the breath. The breath is breathing you. And you have this sensation of opening up to the breath and to the energy of the universe. You want to make sure that your forehead is smooth. No frowns, no tension behind the eyes, no holding tight in the brain. The ears, the jaws relaxed, the shoulders, the heart, the back, all the organs in the torso. Feel yourself sitting on the chair. Feel the weight of your legs and your feet on the floor. And watch the breath. So you're like a lotus flower in the sun that's opened. And perhaps you can start to feel now a slight tingling sensation as the energy of the universe moves through you. If you have any areas in your body that are giving you discomfort or pain, then just go to them now and breathe into them. In your mind, tell that part of you that you love it, and just release, relax, and allow. Listen to the sounds, the sound of my voice, the sounds that you can hear if you can, perhaps in the room that you're seated. You can hear maybe birds outside, maybe there's the hum of a heating system or cars in the background or voices somewhere. Just allowing the body to breathe you, opening up to the energy of the universe, remembering we are eternal, infinite, and immortal. And you can imagine now going to the ends and the beginnings of the universe, stretching out through time, through space, while at the same time remaining with your feet on the ground, the chair under you, and in the sounds of the room. And so I want you to focus your mind now onto your relationship. If you don't have a relationship, then you're going to focus on the relationship that you want. If you're in a relationship, you're going to focus on how you want that relationship to be. And you're going to ask the universe to show you the highest expression of that relationship that you can possibly imagine. So it might be a particular event. It might just be a feeling. It might be the most sincere and joyous, fun moment that you've shared. It might be a memory of something that you've had that you bring to this now. A time when you were so happy in your relationship that the two of you were in complete synchronicity. It may be that you were making love, or maybe you want to make love. And the whole universe has come to this moment. The whole universe stands still as this moment is expressed and felt by you. So you feel the peace, the joy, the harmony, maybe you see yourself sitting somewhere with somebody, maybe you're holding hands, maybe you're making love, maybe you're in the kitchen cooking, maybe you're walking down the street. Whatever images come to you. If you don't have a partner, just imagine what you would like it to be like when you do. The highest level of expression. Allow yourself to really go for this. Go for absolute bliss. It's Valentine's Day. Imagine the hearts. Imagine being showered with the hearts of love and feel within your own heart this radiating, pulsing love. This love for the other and the other's love for you. The gratitude, the appreciation of knowing this person, sharing with this person. The fun, the naughtiness, the music, the dancing, the beauty, the places, the people around you, all the people that are feeling this vibration, that you're sharing this vibration with. And underneath is the breath. And really identify what this feeling is like. This is the place to live. So we're going to come back now very slowly and very gently. And so you're going to imagine coming back from the ends of the universe and the beginnings of the next universe and all the universes and all the time dimensions. You're going to come back. Imagine that energy coming back into your body from all directions, all times, and all dimensions. Coming back into you. You're going to feel yourself in your body again now. Feel yourself sitting on the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Come back to the breath, feeling of the breath. And imagine all of us just holding that vision for each other before we leave this space. So that we wish this for all of us. And indeed for our whole planet. You hold that heart-centered love. So you're coming back now into the body and you're going to swallow. Come back into the belly area. Become aware of the breath. Perhaps just gently move your fingers and your hands. Swallow again. And take another breath, and when you're ready, you're going to open up your eyes.
Yeah, did you open mine?
That's all right.
Oh, that was really nice. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
That was really nice. I feel sleepy now.
Oh.
Yeah, Shakil says hi. Hi, Shakil. Thank you for joining us as well. It's nice to see males on here too. Always.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you again for that. That was really nice, and I hope you guys got a lot from that as well. And again, obviously, you can do that and replay as well if you need to. It's only 5 minutes, and it's a great place to get yourself started as well. Is there any other advice or tips you'd like to share before we leave? So we know about your workshop, and if you can let us know what they need to do in terms of the competition.
The competition, yes, great, yes. So this is a competition to give you a discount on my workshop, my play shop, that is coming up on the weekend of the 2nd and 3rd of March. And I asked you to listen out for this tip that I'm going to, well, it's not a tip actually, it's just a truth. This is my truth, and I share it with you. So the greatest romantic relationship is with your higher power. That is the first and utmost and most important romantic relationship to have. And that is my tip. So when you get that in place, yes, you have to maintain it, it's true. However, if you can get that and really know it, then every day you're going to feel great, no matter what actually happens. And from that place, you're going to be able to have a really successful, joyous, happy, healthy relationship.
Brilliant. And what do they need to do in terms of getting
the discount?
Yes.
So what you need to do is simply to message me with this truth that I've just told you, that the greatest romantic relationship is with your higher power, or God, Goddess, higher, the universe, whatever you choose to call it. Or email me with that and ask for the details of the course, and I will connect with you, and I will send you all of the details so that you can get your discount.
And that was so the workshop or play shop is on the 2nd and 3rd of March. So it's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah. And also just to say, Sobia, too, that if people can't actually come to the workshop, I do also do one-to-one. I do a video program as well that people can engage
contact.
with.
So I've got all the details on the website, website details, the event details also, and how to get in contact with Lorrayn. I've put them all in our description, so in the details of this show. So if you... of this live, should I say. So if any of you want to get in contact, you can directly contact. Also, you can contact myself as well, which is on Sobia at let me remember Sophie at clubwellbeing.co.uk. If you do have any questions as well there, then I can answer that for you as well. And also I'm on Facebook and Club Wellbeing, so you can contact us directly.
And you'll
on
pass
that.
them on to me.
And we'll pass them on to Lorrayn as well.
That's great.
And I hope you guys enjoyed today and enjoyed this topic on love, especially for Valentine's Day. And I hope you got a lot of tips and advice on that as well. If you do have any questions, even if you're watching it afterwards, because I know a lot of you are quite busy at work and then going out after, for your Valentine's, then do put any comments you have in the box below, like always, and we'll answer them for you. Or if you have any comments for me, let me know, or for Lorrayn. And keep your heart, and even if you're watching on replay, keep your hearts and thumbs coming up and say Happy Valentine's in the comments. I would love to hear that from you as well. And if you found value in today's topic, then please do share it with your friends and family. You never know who someone in your family or friends may need to hear this, or your close ones. So do share it on your platforms as well. So until next week, I'm going to say bye for now. But if you do have any questions, like I said, get in contact, put them in the comments box below, we'll answer them. But until then, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I absolutely would. I would just like to say, a profound thank you for having me on the show today.
You're most welcome.
Really, and a thank you to, Club Wellbeing for all that.
That's really nice.
All the club is doing in bringing all these amazing experts in, and the information that is being transmitted here is really high quality. And it's a real privilege to have been here today. Thank you, and thank you all for joining us. It's really been, I've really enjoyed talking about this subject.
So
today.
until next week, take care of yourself, stay blessed, love you all, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Have a great night tonight.
And have a beautiful night of love.
I know, we're going to have a great time.
And we will as well, yeah. Thank you, take care. Bye all.
Bye. Bye-bye.